absolutely adorable episode of Pokemon Horizons. And there are some things I want to talk about, kind of like some like brain zingers essentially that I want to talk about. But I want to make sure I hit the notes that I really, really love. Episode number 26 has kind of reset, and we can tell that episode 26 is where the next core officially starts. Now, I originally thought the next core really started after we came back from the break, but this episode is definitely the very hard line of, okay, episode 1 through 25 was like the first part, the first season of Pokemon Horizons, and then now we're getting into the second half or the second part of Pokemon Horizons. The reason being is it was very hard and fast and evident due to the amazing OP change. So the opening changed, and the opening is fantastic. Like, whatever wizards are over there in the studio, like, just grinding away at beautiful, beautiful art, deserves a pay raise, deserves a high five. Like, they deserve all of it. And by the way, just so you guys know, this is Studio OLM. And Studio OLM, they've been on Pokemon for quite a while now. You know, they've been on Pokemon for a really long time. They've also done other things, just so you know, they've also done other things like Yokai Watch. They've done the most recent, which I still have yet to watch it. It's on my list, but they've done Apothecary Diaries this season. So, you know, that's gorgeous. They've done Faraway Paladin. They've done Utawaro Morono, or Utawaro, you know, you guys know what I'm trying to say. They did Summertime Rendering. So this is a really good studio that we have on there. So whoever's like the specific artists on the Pokemon project, like, they deserve a raise because they're doing like amazing work. And the OP, like, the art in general is awesome, but the OP, like, they put a little extra sprinkle of just like specialness on it, and it's fantastic. The lighting, the shifts, everything are just awesome. The music is dope. The scenes are dope that they decided to depict. Like, they nailed it, like, completely, I think, from beginning to, you know, from opening to end. Now, as far as the rest of the episode goes, you know, we have a clear start now that Liko has truly started on her next journey. Her grandma gifted her the belt where she can hold all the ancient Pokeballs that used to be Lucius's. And she kind of passed down the mantle to her granddaughter. And I just think that's just so special. And again, she got reinvigorated once again, figuring out what she brings to the table, which is that she could connect her feelings to Pokemon. And that's what makes her special. It's her motivations, what moves her forward as a Pokemon trainer, you know, and the feelings that she can convey, the powerful emotions that she can convey, not only with partnering up with Hatterene, you know, who's all about emotions, but then you have Terapagos, who's all about emotions here too. And like, that's how she's been able to reach out to Moltres. That's how she's been able to reach out to Arboliva. And that'll probably end up extending to Entei and Lapras and the rest of the group as well too. So that, you just love to see it. And this was just a really, really good episode for all of that, for that intrigue, the mystery, and then what's to come. Now, when I talk about those moments of like the mind bender moments, is one of the things that I do find interesting, and I want to mention up front and right here that they're not going to tackle this subject. And the reason they're not going to tackle this subject is because at the end of the day, this is for kids, and this is for, you know, kids who are like under 10 years old, essentially. Like, that's kind of the demographic, is like, you know, you start being a trainer at 10 years old. 10 is kind of the general demographic for, you know, the audience. Now, obviously, there's a lot younger kids, you know, 4 or 5 years old that watch it. There's a lot older kids, myself, you know, that watch the show. So there's a big demographic. But really, if I were to say, like, they really target like that about 10 years old, you know, late elementary, early middle school. That's kind of their core audience. So the reason I want to make that distinction is the mind-bending part of this is, you know, Pokemon Horizons tends to lean towards Pokemon kind of exists forever. But we know through, you know, 30 years of Pokemon lore, that's not true. Pokemon 100% die. And it happens all the time. There's cemeteries. We've seen, you know, there's a lot of lore behind it, but Pokemon definitely die. And the real reason is they're animals, essentially. They simply don't live as long as humans. Now, there are some things out there to point that if they're in their Pokeball, if they're in captivity, that lengthens their life longevity exponentially. But we have Pokemon here, right, in this story with with Entei, with Arboliva, that have seemingly existed for a while. And, when you think about like Entei or Arboliva or Lapras, they haven't been confined. They might carry around, but they don't have been confined to their monster balls or their Pokeballs, I guess. Damn Japanese, they got me. The Japanese dialogue got me. But they're not confined to their Pokeballs. So the interesting thing I think about is obviously, Liko's grandma definitely did hint and mention that, hey, like Lucius is dead. Like he long gone. Unless he's in some kind of spirit world or something else, like he's like in some in-between space, like he's gone. And the Pokemon though aren't. And I kind of can understand a Pokemon like Rayquaza or maybe Entei. But then there's also hints that, like, as we've seen in other episodes and other parts of the anime, that like legendaries do reproduce as well too. So it's a chance that like I just don't know. The reason I also am harping on this subject a little bit too is we have Terapagos being our main Pokemon, and although he was in crystal form, right now he's in baby form. And the reason behind that, the line that we're being told is, well, because he was confined to his crystal in his crystal form, he's basically now rehatched. But at the same time, he has all of his memories and stuff too. So it's like, well, he was actually a different form. He was actually full energy Terapagos, big ass, Turtlemon. And now he's kind of regressed into this baby form. So I'm not struggling. I'm allowing it to occur because it is what it is. But that's kind of one of the things I'm like, I don't know. And the last thing that is kind of the mind bender part of it too, because I don't want to harp on that subject for too long, is Liko's grandma said, hey, the reason that they're connecting with you is they feel your passion, more energy, more passion, right? And I really don't think that that's the case. Like, I don't know why. Like, at the end of the day, right, like Liko's grandma found Lucius's stuff in her attic seemingly 60 years ago, right? You have to assume maybe 50 years ago, 60 years ago. So it's very easy to believe that it was one of two things. Either Lucius was like BFS with her parents, grandparents, or Lucius is great-great-great-great-grandpapa, right? Or maybe just great-great-grandpapa or something. But they have the same eyes. And in the OP, right, they show grandma, mom, and Liko together. And they all have the same eyes. When you look at Lucius, he has the same eyes too. So it's very, very likely that the reason that she's handpicked by all these Pokemon is she has the essence of Lucius, which is not only, the tenacity and feeling and the blood, also like being a descendant of. So that's the other thing I think of too when it comes to Liko. And maybe that gets discovered later down the line. Maybe grandma didn't put two and two together like that. But I think that eventually Liko will understand that she's a descendant of Lucius. And although he may not be around, she can then not get passed down, but she can then inherit the 6 Pokemon that he had on his ventures, that he seemingly spent all this time training on, etc. So there's a world where down the line as a Pokemon trainer, that not only does Liko have, Hatena, who turns into Hatterene, Sprigatito that turns into Meowscarada, and maybe any other Pokemon that she inevitably captures through her journey. There's a world where she also has big-ass Gigantamax Alpha Arboliva and, shiny Rayquaza and big-ass Terapagos and there's a world where she has these amazing Pokemon. She's gonna be a reckoning coming, So, anyways, I'm gonna leave you guys on those thoughts. But this episode was awesome. I love that it set us up for the next evolution of the journey. And I love that there's a world where she can be a formidable Pokemon trainer through connections, which is so cool, especially as a kid. you know, seeing that, like seeing somebody be a different type of trainer other than just like the gung ho, I'm the best trainer. Like that's so cool. So anyways, I'm gonna leave you guys in those thoughts. Let me know what you guys thought. See you guys next weekend. Peace out, trainers.